It seems there's no foreign YouTuber covering this case, but it was once a very big news in China. And it still takes the headline even though it has been happened for 6 years. If you are new to this channel, please click on the like button and subscribe. Let me just go through this case first. So there are 3 persons involved at first: Liu, Chen, and Jiang. They all studied in Japan. Liu and Chen, they were in couple, while Jiang is Liu's best friend. However, in 2016, Liu wanted to break up with Chen, but Chen did not accept it. He kept harassing and threatening her. Being afraid of Chen, Liu asked Jiang for help and moved into Jiang's apartment. But Chen didn't give up. On November 3rd, 2016, Chen followed Liu to her working place. In order to let him go, Liu asked her colleague to pretend to be her new boyfriend. Chen was very angry and went away. But what Liu got in return was a threatening message. If you choose to be with him, I will do anything recklessly. In the late evening, Liu finished her work. Recalling what happened in the daytime, she felt frightened. So she sent a message to Jiang and asked her to wait for her at the railway station. But she didn't tell Jiang what happened in the daytime, and she didn't tell her about the threatening message. Without knowing anything, Jiang waited at the railway station and returned together with Liu to the apartment. When they reached the corridor near their apartment at around 12 a.m., Chen suddenly appeared with a knife in his hand. Liu firstly went inside the room, whereas Jiang was still outside, and stabbed by Chen in the neck for more than 10 times. And Chen fled away. 2 weeks later, Chen was caught by the Japanese police and sentenced to 20 years in prison. But for this ruling, Jiang's mother could not accept. She thought the sentence was too light and petitioned to execute the murderer. On the other hand, she believes that Liu should be also partially responsible for her daughter's death. She pointed out that it was Liu and Chen who were having conflicts. So Chen's target must be Liu, not her daughter. But why the murderer didn't do anything to Liu? She believed that at the corridor, Liu must be aware of Chen's presence and fled inside the room first and locked the door, making her daughter unable to get inside. In face of such doubt, Liu made several denials. She denied knowing the presence of Chen, she denied knowing what happened outside the door, and most importantly, she denied locking the door. So how did everything happen like this? Now only Chen and Liu knew the truth. But Chen wanted to get rid of the charge of intentional murdering. He made up several lies which were overturned by Japanese police. And therefore, his testimony is not trustable anymore. In Liu's version of story, that night she had her period ruin her pants. So when they arrived at the building, she explained to Jiang and rushed into the room first. But very quickly, she kind of heard Jiang screaming. So she went out of the toilet and tried to open the door to see what happened. Weirdly, it seems there was a force from outside, and she could only open like 30 centimeters, and the door was very quickly pushed back. Afterwards, she was not able to open the door again. So she asked what happened for several times, and there was no response. Feeling in danger, she called the police. But when she called the police, there was a sentence recorded at the very beginning. It seems she was talking to someone outside. 门锁了，不要闹了. The door is locked. Stop making troubles. According to the meaning, it seems she was speaking to Chen. So we can get the conclusion that she locked the door from inside. However, she explained, there were 2 words missing in the record. The whole sentence she said was 怎么门锁了?
不要闹了. Then the meaning totally changed. It means, why did you lock the door? Stop playing pranks. If it is true, then it seems she was speaking to Jiang, which means she didn't lock the door. Finally, the Japanese court didn't look into further about the record and took her explanation in the verdict. But many people didn't believe her explanations.
Many netizens argued if they were at the sport, probably they would do the same thing, and they didn't dare to open the door as well. It was not this action, but a series of her attitude make people angry. 2 days after the murdering, Jiang's mother posted online, saying the suspect was Liu's ex-boyfriend. Very quickly, thousands of people rushed into Liu's social media account, saying Liu is the one should be dead, and Jiang is replacing her death. Being annoyed, Liu sent a message to Jiang's mother. If I saw these accusing articles again, I will stop cooperating with the police and won't testify the murderer. Later on, she didn't show up on Jiang's funeral as promised. She also promised to meet Jiang's mother in Japan, but she didn't show up either. May 21st, 2017, nearly 200 days after the incident, Jiang's mother still could not get in touch with Liu, neither Liu's family. Mixed with anger, disappointment, and anxiety, she published all the information about Liu and Liu's parents, including their names, photos, ID card numbers, phone numbers, and home address, intended to push them to appear. Since then, the family received dozens of abuses and threatening parcels from the netizens. In an interview, Liu was crying very badly. She said it was her fault being disappeared, but she thought her action don't deserve such punishment. Now they were suffering and criticized more than the murderer. Several days later, Jiang's mother finally got in touch from Liu's parents. First time since her daughter's death, after 200 days. However, in the phone record, Liu's parents didn't apologize, didn't comfort. The only thing they delivered was, if you don't delete our information online, we will sue you at the court. Liu's mother even said, your daughter deemed to die early. Furious about the reaction of this family, the blame to Liu and Liu's parents become more and more severe online. On August 2017, a media finally arranged a meeting between Liu and Jiang's mother. It was the first meeting between them since the incident. In the video, Liu bowed her head the whole time and apologized to Jiang's mother.
我很高兴见到你。
对不起，阿姨，我一直想见你，但是我不知道该怎么开口，真的是这样子。
不知道怎么开口没关系，我来问你吧，好吗？我把你们全家逼逼无奈，我给报上网上去之后，好嘛，我凌晨发的文章，到中午你就发来了信息威胁我。 限我1天之内撤掉文章，否则的话你死都不会出庭作证，这是你说的话吧？
是，我是说过。5
月21号我发布的文章，5月23号你爸爸打来了电话要起诉我，你妈妈骂我江哥命短，被杀和你刘鑫一点关系都没有，这是不是事实？
那都是气话。
气话，我女儿这是一条命。
我知道。
However, Jiang's mother didn't accept the apology. She believed that this girl was not sincere. She just could not stand the published pressure.
除夕夜，我在家里抱着江哥的遗像，听着外面万家鞭炮响。可你刘鑫换了新发型的头像，在那里玩自拍。你们在滋滋润润的生活着。 你们没有把江哥的生命当做一回事，你今天眼泪不是对江哥的忏悔，不是对江哥妈妈的歉意。
Several months later, in Chinese New Year Eve, Liu sent a message to Jiang's mother, wish her 阖家欢乐. In Chinese, it's a word depicting the reunion of the whole family. We don't know it's a simple negligence or she did it on purpose. And in the following days, she just kept sending irritating messages. To be honest, I'm confused by her actions. The only thing she can reduce the criticism is to apologize, to comfort Jiang's mother. But she's like, I'm the victim of cyberbullying. My family suffered a lot. But she kept sending those messages and make her under the spotlight again and again. I'm really confused. If anyone knows the psychological reasons behind, please comment. I'm very interested. The reason why this case comes back as a hot topic is because in January 2022, Jiang's mother won the civil lawsuit against Liu for a right-to-life dispute. In the Chinese court, the lock of door was confirmed, and Liu was ruled to pay 700,000 yuan as a compensation. While the whole nation were congratulating the victory to Jiang's mother, in February, Liu made an announcement saying that she will appeal for a second trial, as the court faked the truth. She insisted that she hadn't locked the door that night and she would never acknowledge something that she hadn't done. And she added, if the second trial doesn't prove my innocence, I'm going to die. Some netizens believe that, although the abuses to Liu have reached the level of online violence, but given her action in this matter, this kind of violence is the punishment that she deserves. However, there are also voices believe that the public opinion's moral trial is not justified and unfair. She's also a victim and should be protected instead of having her private information exposed. So as a Chinese, I'm curious about the opinions from other countries. How do you think of the case? How do you perceive Jiang's mother's action? And what were your reaction towards Liu's behaviors? I'm interested to know. Please don't hesitate to comment below and leave your opinions. I will see you next time. Bye bye!